On the 13th of June 2024, the third season of the finals was released. With it came new weapons, gadgets, specializations, a battle pass that screams that you are still living at your parents, and a new map that is still killing our frames. But most important of all, Embark decided to bring back Terminal Attack as the new ranked game mode, which was controversial? But not all hope was lost, because on the other side of things, they just released one of the best additions to the game yet, World Tour, taking the primary game mode of the finals, tournament, and turning it into the best casual experience possible. With weekly events, rule changes, and a whole new grind, it seemed like Embark just nailed casual matchmaking. Well, at least, that was on paper. Hi! My name is Creed, and today I'm going to dissect World Tour and its identity crisis. In the first part, I'm going to explain the differences between World Tour and Ranked, and how nuanced they are. Then in the second part, I'm going to bring up the issues with this identity crisis, to finally give solutions to these problems, because I'm not a crybaby, contrary to what my profile picture would say. That's a weeb joke! And obviously, feel free to debate with me in the comments. I'll try and reply as much as I can. So, long story short, World Tour and Ranked are extremely similar. Same game mode, same numbers of rounds and players, but there's still a couple of rule changes. In Ranked, there's a 15% loss of your total cash if your team is getting wiped, when in World Tour, there's none. You can only change your loadout only between rounds instead of doing respawns. There's no game show events, and the most important one, there's a matchmaking. You do have a Ranked and World Tour grind that give you seasonal rewards. In Ranked, if you lose a game, well, you lose points for your rank. That's not the case in World Tour. While in Season 3, World Tour was the main way to play tournament, nowadays, the average player won't see a difference between Ranked and World Tour. That's the start of the problem. If you compare the finals to other game with successful ranked scenes, you'll know right away that you are having a different experience. For example, in Counter-Strike, the casual experience is drastically different from competitive. You still have the Eastern Europeans screaming in your ears in both game modes, but it is unfair to compare Counter-Strike to the finals, because in this case, CS is known for its competitive scene. Whereas for Team Fortress 2, for example, there is still a ranked scene, but people mainly know the game for its casual experience. In both cases, they have each a part of their communities, but they share the same idea. You can distinctively tell if you're playing in a casual or ranked lobby. In the finals, World Tour literally plays like ranked. Same meta loadouts, same comps, even the same players. This is a problem, because World Tour is sold as the ultimate casual experience for the finals, but the chill casual scene doesn't even bother playing World Tour because it's too sweaty, whereas this should be a safe place for them. And you might not realize that while silent, this is a pretty big minority. This is due to multiple main issues. The first one I'm going to bring up is the Emerald grind. Having a seasonal grind is a good solution to keep people playing through the month to get that sweet green skin. Only this is beyond grinding. This is a full-time job. Winning a full tournament grants you 25 points, and reaching Emerald 1, the final rank, requires 2,400 points, which if the average match is roughly 30 minutes, you're looking at 48 hours to reach Emerald 1. This is in a perfect world scenario if you were to win every single one of your games, without taking in account the queue times or loadings. Quick reminder, this is supposed to be the casual game mode, not ranked. Now, I know it's reachable while having an active lifestyle, but I don't want to dedicate all my free time on a video game. I feel like nowadays, every game tries to hook you to seasonal limited game modes, events and rewards, so you can't ever stop playing without having a FOMO. And Battle Pass are an excellent example of that practice. And I'm very happy that Embark has publicly said that they will offer newer players a chance to get old Battle Pass cosmetics. Now, given I don't play that much of the finals compared to other content creators, I have other hobbies, and since I've started making these videos, I even have less time to play the damn game, but I still pour a good 100 hours every season and can't seem to be finding the time to invest playing ranked because I can't even reach Emerald 1 in time. I mean, maybe I just suck at. My struggle from reaching Emerald 1, which is shared with a lot of players by the way, is not only due by the amount of time you have to invest, but also from the lack of matchmaking. Because people don't want to miss out on the seasonal skin, they are going to try to get to the final as hard as they can, just like if they were playing ranked. This creates a huge crisis when playing World Tour because half of its players are literally playing competitive and the other is just here to have a fun, casual experience. And I don't blame them. This is sold as the casual alternative to ranked. But when solo queuing, how am I accepted to have fun when playing with randoms against a triple stack of diamonds or even rubies players who are just here to clip me? And I know what you're going to bring up. Well, why don't they simply implement some kind of skill-based matchmaking? For those who don't know, SBMM in short is a form of matchmaking that matches players of a similar skill level by using multiple sources of data. Depending on the game, It can be based on your KD, your movement, your button inputs. Well, I think that nowadays it's literally necessary in most multiplayer games because of how much the skill gap has increased. You'll often find yourself a lot more penalized by the system. An excellent example of this is Call of Duty. If you played any of its multiplayers since it's been introduced in 2019 and are at least decent at the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The pain. Every time you find yourself doing good, scoring a decent KD, you'll know that the next game you'll end up in a lobby where you just find yourself suffering through TikTok phone tryhards. This is not a good solution because it's punishing for the most of us. On the other hand, having brand new players facing people who already poured 100 of hours into the game is not fair. Times have changed and not having any forms of matchmaking is just not right. And listen, I understand. I also love stomping on newbies and having that freedom, but it's just bullying. The lack of matchmaking in World Tour is my main frustration with this game. It's the main reason that makes me quit the game or take breaks. Again, I'm far from being the best at this game, but I often find myself in positions where if I don't hard carry my teammates, we are simply not going to win. So I know what you might wonder. Implement some kind of soft SBMM and everything will be fixed. Well, here's the problem. There's not enough players. I've already mentioned this in my Season 6 review, but the main reason why you find yourself facing some of the sweatiest motherfuckers in this game is because not enough people are playing. If they implemented some kind of matchmaking right now, queue times will explode and higher ranked players will pretty much be playing ranked but with less strict rules. On a larger scale, a soft SBMM is definitely the answer. It's important for less serious players to have a fun but challenging experience without having them facing wannabe comets. And no, I don't think that saying, well, the noobs can go play quick cash is the answer. The tournament format is what the finals has best to offer and they should be accessible to anyone. Gatekeeping game modes is lame, but this casual and competitive identity crisis is bigger than just World Tour. This is also related to the game itself. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. In your opinion, do you think the finals is a competitive or casual video game? I can guarantee you that if I were to make a poll, it's going to be 50-50. And truth be told, I can't tell you either. While its structure is casual and fun, Embark seems to be pushing the competitive scene this year, and we don't know how that will go yet. Because this is the only video game offering the quick cash game mode format, there's a lot of interest on how this is going to work out in an esports setting. And while there has been some community-run tournaments, I think it's advisable to wait and see how Embark visions their game as an esport. World Tour isn't the one having an identity crisis. The final does. The final is the dude, I've been editing this video for the past week. It's like 7 in the morning and I've just noticed that it's the final is, it's not the final does. I even asked like ChatGPT, you know, like if it was correct or anything, and he was like, no, it's not correct. Oh god. Yeah, okay, sorry guys. That doesn't mean that a game has to be one or the other. For example, Counter-Strike is known for being a competitive game first, but there's a casual scene. Team Fortress is known for being a casual game first, but there's a ranked scene. Fortnite, League of Legends, Overwatch. There's a lot of examples out there. But even I couldn't tell you where the finals is going. I know I'm not the first one to bring this up, and to be honest, I don't know which one it should be. I think both sides bring contradictions and benefits, and honestly think that how smoothly and successfully the first tournament this year is going to determine where the game is headed. So, how do we fix all this? Well, for starters, the more players come to this game, the faster they can implement a healthy matchmaking. I want to take this moment to say that while it's mainly Embark's and the communication department's job to bring new players, us, the community, also have a role in this. Recommending the game, teaching new players how the game works, being an active member of the community. The casual format is unique to this game, and you need to take that into consideration when playing with new players, even if they experience another FPS. Also, just try and behave in online games in general. You're not 12 anymore. I also think that making the grind less important and long will just make people try less hard to win. I'm not saying that you should make it accessible to anyone, they still got to keep players playing the game, but I'd like to have a life on the side and not having to play almost every day for a shiny green skin. Because you can't lose points, being Emerald doesn't prove that you're good at the game, but only that you've had a lot of free time to spend on the finals and your lack of applications on the Indeed. And even if they already did an excellent job pushing the casual aesthetic, more drastic weekly events and rule changes wouldn't hurt. I love the idea of a world tour. It truly reminds me of that one Wii party game for some reason. And I'm going to be asking for a lot here, but I also wish we, the players, would take casual game modes less seriously. I think we take video games in general way too seriously nowadays, and I say this as the patient zero of tryharding whenever I can. So I also have work to do on myself on this. I could make a whole video on how multiplayer games turn into a proving ground for a lot of us, and this same part of the community is losing the fun side of multiplayer just to look cool online. Let me know if you want to see that video. And as for the whole identity crisis thing, I'm going to repeat myself here, but I just think we have to wait and see. Like any game with a high skill gap, there's a esport potential. But is there a public for this? I think so. The game is just a lot. Even for people who are used to play video games, and making this edible seems complex. I don't want to end this on a sour note and say that the game is doomed, and that you shouldn't even bother playing World Tour because you can simply play ranked. I honestly think that the game has so much potential as both a casual and competitive format. It needs to decide what it wants to be. The longer this is going to take, the more the community is going to be confused, and that's not good. I've seen a lot of games die this way. I'm actually genuinely curious to have the community's opinion on this matter. I know that this whole identity crisis isn't a hot take, but feel free to let me know what you think about this. And as always, at the time you're seeing this, I'm already working on my next video about the finals, but feel free to put some recommendations on what you want to see on this channel. I also plan on talking on other things than the finals very soon, which I'm very excited about. Anyways, I think I'm done yapping here. Thank you for watching, take care of yourself and your loved ones, and I'll catch you next time.